The morning started like any other in Los Angeles. Kim Jae-hwan stirred his coffee, watching the news with half-closed eyes. At 42, he was no longer the young Navy SEAL who had seen action in some of the world's most dangerous places. Now he worked as a private security consultant, his days of intense combat seemingly behind him. Outside his apartment window, the city bustled with its usual morning rhythm. Cars moved slowly through traffic. People rushed to work. Nobody noticed the strange shimmer in the sky. At first, people thought it was a cloud, then a reflection, then something else entirely. The first ships appeared without warning, massive, metallic, and unlike anything humans had ever seen before. They weren't sleek or beautiful. They were brutal, angular machines that blocked out the sun as they descended over Los Angeles. Jae-hwan's military training kicked in immediately. Before the first explosion, before the panic, he was already moving. He grabbed his go bag, always packed, always ready, and checked his phone. No signal. The communication networks were already going down. Outside, chaos erupted. The alien ships began releasing smaller crafts that looked like deadly metallic insects. They fired energy weapons that cut through buildings like they were made of paper. Concrete crumbled. Glass shattered. People screamed. "This is not a drill," Jae-hwan muttered to himself, grabbing extra ammunition from a hidden compartment in his closet. His apartment was more than just a home. It was a prepared survival point. Down on the street, people ran in all directions. Some stood frozen in shock. Others tried to help neighbors. Jae-hwan knew from experience that panic was the real enemy in any invasion. A massive explosion rocked the building. The entire structure shook. In the distance, the iconic Los Angeles skyline was transforming into a landscape of smoke and destruction. Military jets scrambled, but they looked like toys compared to the alien vessels. Jae-hwan made his way down the emergency stairs. He could hear people crying, children screaming. An elderly woman had fallen, and he stopped to help her up. "Stay calm," he said firmly. "We're going to get through this." The street was a war zone. Abandoned cars blocked the roads. Fires burned everywhere. The alien crafts moved with a precision that suggested incredible technology and a complete lack of mercy. They weren't just attacking military targets. They were destroying everything. A group of terrified civilians huddled near a damaged building. Jae-hwan approached them, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the panic around them. "Listen," he said, "we need to stick together. Those who survive will be those who think clearly." An young man, probably in his 20s, looked up at Jae-hwan. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Just someone who's been trained to handle impossible situations," Jae-hwan responded. He checked his surroundings, always moving, always planning. "Right now, we need to find a safe location and gather supplies." In the sky, more ships continued to appear. This was no simple attack. This was a full-scale invasion, and humanity had no idea what was coming. Jae-hwan knew one thing: Earth wasn't going down without a fight. Not on his watch. Deep in space, aboard the massive command ship of the Galactic Alliance, Supreme Commander Rintok reviewed the invasion reports. His six-fingered hands moved across holographic displays, each movement precise and calculated. To him, conquering Earth was nothing more than a routine operation. Estimated time of complete planetary submission. He spoke to his senior officers, 48 standard galactic hours. The bridge of the command ship was a marvel of alien technology. Screens flickered with data streams, showing the destruction being unleashed on Earth's major cities. New York, Tokyo, London, Moscow. Each metropolis was being systematically dismantled by the invasion force. But the aliens had made a critical mistake. They were looking at numbers, not understanding the complexity of human nature. Commander Lee, Rintok's primary intelligence officer, presented the initial invasion reports. "Surface defenses are minimal," he explained, his tone clinical and detached. "Human military responses are fragmented. Their technology is primitive by our standards. Rintok nodded. The Galactic Alliance had conquered hundreds of planets. They had seen resistance before. Always, the result was the same. Planets fell. Civilizations were absorbed or eliminated. What they didn't see were the small groups forming in basements, in mountain hideouts, in abandoned buildings. What they couldn't calculate was human determination. In a military bunker deep beneath the Colorado mountains, a group of military leaders and scientists were already planning. They weren't surrendering. They were preparing to fight back. "Our satellite networks are down," said Colonel Park Sung-ho, studying a rough map of the United States. "But we're not beaten. Not by a long shot." Around him, engineers were already working on capturing and understanding the alien communication frequencies. Scientists were analyzing the first pieces of alien technology that had been shot down. Back in Los Angeles, Jae-hwan had gathered a group of survivors. They weren't an army. They were a mix of people from different backgrounds. A school teacher, 2 construction workers, an IT specialist, and an elderly veteran. "We need information," Jae-hwan told them. He was drawing a rough map on a wall using charcoal from a burned building. "We need to understand their weaknesses." The IT specialist, a woman named Lee Eun-ji, had managed to salvage some communication equipment. "I'm picking up strange signal patterns," she said, her fingers moving quickly over a damaged laptop. "It's like they're transmitting something, but not in any language I've ever seen." What the aliens didn't understand was human ingenuity. Where others saw defeat, humans saw a puzzle to solve. Where others saw impossible odds, humans saw a challenge. On the alien command ship, Rintok continued to calculate percentages, probabilities, invasion success rates. He didn't know that on Earth, a very different calculation was happening. A calculation of survival, of resistance, of hope. The invasion was just beginning, and humanity was already fighting back. The abandoned shopping mall became their first base of operations. Jae-hwan had chosen it carefully. Multiple exits, strong concrete structure, and enough space to organize their growing group of survivors. Park Eun-ji, the former Special Forces engineer, was busy turning everyday items into weapons. A microwave, a car battery, some wire. To her, these were not just objects. They were tools of survival. "We can't fight them with traditional weapons," she explained to the group. Her hands moved quickly, connecting circuits and testing makeshift electronic devices. "But we can fight them with their own technology." Nearby, Lee Sung-min worked on communications. He had managed to salvage several damaged communication devices from the alien wreckage. Most people would have seen broken electronics. Sung-min saw a puzzle waiting to be solved. "Their communication system is advanced," he said, adjusting some wires. "But all advanced systems have weaknesses. We just need to find them." Outside, the city burned. Alien patrol ships moved systematically, destroying what remained of the infrastructure. They believed the human resistance was crushed. They were wrong. Jae-hwan had a plan. It wasn't a military strategy from a textbook. It was something more fundamental. Understanding the enemy by watching them, learning their patterns. "Look at how they move," he told the group, pointing at a makeshift map with alien patrol routes. "They're precise. Too precise. That means they're following a strict protocol. And strict protocols always have gaps." A young man named Kim Da-hyun, who had been a computer programmer before the invasion, spoke up. "If their systems are that structured, we might be able to create a digital attack. Exploit their communication networks." The group was an odd mix. A retired Navy SEAL, an engineer, a communication specialist, a programmer, a school teacher, a construction worker. No military would have put them together. But here, they were becoming something powerful. Their first small victory came unexpectedly. Park Eun-ji had modified a satellite phone and some alien communication equipment. Suddenly, they could intercept alien communication channels. "They don't think we can understand them," Sung-min said, listening carefully. "But language is just a pattern. and patterns can be learned. Jae-won smiled. This was exactly how special forces operated. Not with brute force, but with intelligence, with understanding. Their first real test came when an alien patrol ship landed nearby. Most groups would have hidden. This group had a different approach. "We're going to let them think we're weak," Jae-won explained. "Then we'll strike." The plan was simple but clever. They would use the alien technology they had gathered to create a false signal, something that would make the aliens believe this area was harmless. A trap. As the alien soldiers moved through the abandoned streets, they had no idea they were being watched, studied, prepared for. Humanity's first true counterattack was about to begin, and it would start right here, in this broken city, with a group of survivors who refused to give up. The aliens thought they had won. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The alien command center looked like a fortress of metal and light. Located in what was once downtown Los Angeles, it was a testament to the invaders' confidence. They believed they had already won. Jae-won and his team had been watching for days. Every movement, every patrol, every shift change. They learned the rhythm of the alien operations like a complicated dance. "We have one chance," Jae-won told Park Eun-ji and Lee Sung-min. "One chance to get inside and do maximum damage." Their plan was crazy. Impossible, some would say. But impossible was something humans were very good at making possible. They had studied the alien communication systems. They had reverse-engineered small pieces of alien technology. Now they were going to use that knowledge to break into the heart of the invasion. Eun-ji had created special suits, made from pieces of alien technology and human improvisation. These suits would help them blend in. Not perfectly, but just enough to get close. Their visual sensors are advanced, Sung-min explained. But every sensor has a blind spot. We just need to find it. The night was dark. Smoke from burning buildings created perfect cover. The alien patrol ships moved in predictable patterns, their lights cutting through the darkness like mechanical sharks. Their first obstacle was the outer perimeter. Massive energy shields protected the command center. Normal human technology would never break through. But they weren't using normal human technology anymore. Eun-ji pulled out a device she had been working on for days. It looked like a mess of wires and alien components. To the untrained eye, it was junk. To her, it was a weapon. "Frequency disruptor," she whispered. "Took me 3 days to build this from the pieces we collected." The device worked perfectly. For just 3 seconds, the energy shield flickered. Most would have missed those 3 seconds. Jae-won and his team didn't miss anything. They moved fast, like shadows, like ghosts. Inside the command center was a world of light and strange technology. Holographic displays showed maps of Earth. Tracking systems followed every human movement. The aliens believed they knew everything. They were wrong. Some men began connecting a small device to their main communication system. His fingers moved quickly, breaking through layers of alien security like they were made of paper. "I'm in," he said quietly. Jae-won was focusing on something else. Information. Their weakness wasn't physical. It was informational. If they could disrupt their communication, they could create chaos. "We're not just fighting," Jae-won told his team. "We're sending a message. Humans are not easy targets." The device some men planted would do more than just disrupt communications. It would send a message, a human message, right into the heart of the alien command structure. As they prepared to exit, alarms began to sound. They had limited time. But they had already done more damage than the aliens could imagine. The invasion had just changed, and the aliens were about to learn that humans fight differently. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a different kind of battle was brewing. The world didn't know about this place. Most governments hadn't even known about this place. It was a secret that had been kept for decades, a last resort facility designed for humanity's most impossible challenges. Dr. Kim Min-seo stood in front of a massive wall of screens. Around her, Scientists and engineers worked with a speed and determination that felt almost supernatural. This was humanity's real first line of defense. "Activate Project Firewall," she commanded. The room hummed to life. Quantum computers that looked more like art installations than machines began processing information at speeds that would have been impossible just years ago. These weren't just computers. They were humanity's secret weapon. Above ground, the world looked defeated. Cities burned. Governments had fallen. The alien invasion seemed unstoppable. But underground, something else was happening. "We've been preparing for this moment for decades," Dr. Park Jae-yun said, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Not just for aliens, but for any threat that could challenge human existence." The facility was more than a research center. It was a vault of human potential. Technologies that had been developed in secret. Innovations that governments and private companies had hidden away. Weapons that defied current scientific understanding. A young engineer named Kim Dae-hyun was working on something special. He had spent the last 3 years developing the system that could adapt to alien communication frequencies faster than the aliens could change them. "Their technology is advanced," he muttered to himself. "But technology is just a language, and humans are the best at learning languages." Across the facility, different teams worked on different projects. One group was reverse engineering the pieces of alien technology that had been shot down during the initial invasion. Another was developing adaptive shield technologies. A third was working on communication disruption methods. Dr. Min Seo walked between the workstations, her eyes calculating. She understood something the aliens didn't. Humans weren't just fighting. They were evolving. "We're not trying to match their technology," she told her team. "We're trying to understand it, and then we're going to make it our own." In another part of the facility, massive 3D printers were creating components that looked part human, part alien. These weren't just weapons. They were the first steps of a technological revolution. Outside, the world continued to burn. The aliens believed they had won. They thought humanity was defeated. They were about to learn how wrong they were. A massive screen showed the global situation. Red markers indicated alien-controlled zones. But between those red zones, something was happening. Small resistance groups, communication networks, people organizing. The aliens saw chaos. Dr. Min Seo saw something else. She saw hope. "Prepare the first wave," she said quietly. The team around her began to move with precision. They weren't soldiers in the traditional sense. They were something else. They were humanity's last hope. And they were ready to fight back. Information was a weapon, and Jae-hwan knew how to use it better than anyone. The broadcast system was cobbled together from broken equipment. 1 radio, 3 computers, a satellite phone. Pieces of alien technology mixed with human ingenuity. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. "We're going to tell them exactly who they're fighting," Jae-hwan told Lee Sung-min, who was setting up the transmission equipment. Their target wasn't just the invading aliens. It was every alien civilization in the Galactic Alliance. They were going to expose the truth. Sung-min had spent days decoding alien communication frequencies. What he found was horrifying. The Galactic Alliance wasn't just an invasion force. It was a system of planetary conquest that had destroyed countless civilizations. They'd done this before, Sung-min explained, showing Jae-hwan a map of conquered planets. "Earth isn't the first, but we're going to make sure it's their last." The broadcast began simply, a clear signal, cutting through alien communication channels. No fancy technology, just human voices. First came the evidence, star charts showing planets that had been completely erased, recordings of alien communications discussing resource extraction, a polite term for planetary genocide. Visual records of entire civilizations reduced to nothing more than data points. Jae-hwan's voice was calm, clear, precise. "This is humanity speaking to the Galactic Alliance. You thought we would be another conquest. You were wrong. Across the galaxy, Alien communication networks began to receive the transmission. Some tried to block it. Some tried to scramble it. But information has a way of breaking through. In the alien command ship, Supreme Commander Rintok watched in disbelief. His perfectly calculated invasion was falling apart. The broadcast continued. Images of human resistance, small groups fighting back, cities that refused to fall, children protecting their families, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. "We are not just another species," Jahuan's voice rang out. "We are humanity, and we do not surrender." Sun Min had done something incredible. He had found the communication networks of other conquered civilizations, civilizations that had been silenced. Now they would hear humanity's message. The psychological impact was immediate. Doubt began to spread through the Galactic Alliance's ranks. If humans could broadcast this message, what else could they do? Some alien soldiers began to question their mission. Some began to wonder about the true nature of their conquest. "Every civilization you've conquered," the broadcast continued, "thought they were alone. We are showing them they are not." Park Yunji had prepared something special. Hidden within the broadcast was a technical signal, a digital invitation, an open communication channel to any species that wanted to listen. The aliens had believed in their technological superiority. They didn't understand human creativity, human determination, the ability to turn anything into a weapon, even a message. As the broadcast ended, something had changed. The invasion was no longer just a military operation. It had become something else, a statement of human resolve. And the galaxy was listening. The underground facility buzzed with energy. Dr. Park Yunji stood before a holographic display, her eyes bright with excitement and determination. What she was about to reveal would change everything. "We've done it," she announced to the team of scientists and engineers. Adaptive shield technology. The breakthrough had come from an unexpected place. By combining pieces of alien technology with human quantum computing, they had created something entirely new. It wasn't just a shield. It was a living, thinking defense system. Kim Dae-hyun, the young engineer, explained how it worked. "Traditional shields block attacks," he said. "Our shield learns. It adapts. Each attack makes it stronger." Massive manufacturing centers across the hidden facility were already producing components. What used to take months now took hours. Humans had always been good at making things. Now they were making things that could fight back. In orbit above Earth, the first test would happen soon. 3 prototype ships waited. They looked different from anything humans or aliens had ever seen before. Part human engineering, part alien technology. Completely unpredictable. Dr. Min Seo watched the preparation. She understood what most didn't. This wasn't just about winning a war. This was about proving something fundamental about humanity. "We're not just defending," she told her team. "We're evolving." The alien fleet continued to patrol Earth's orbit. They believed they had already won. They had no idea what was coming. The first ship launched silently. No massive engines, no loud explosion, just a quiet departure that would change everything. Jae-hwan watched from a communication center. He had been coordinating with the underground facility. Every piece of information, every small victory was connected. "Target locked," came a quiet voice over the communication system. The alien patrol ships moved in their usual pattern. Precise, calculated, boring. Then everything changed. The human prototype ship moved in a way that broke every rule of space combat. It didn't just dodge. It predicted. It learned. Each alien weapon became information. Each attack became a lesson. One alien ship tried to fire. Its weapon was absorbed, studied, neutralized. Another tried a different approach. Same result. In the alien command ship, Supreme Commander Rintok watched in disbelief. His perfectly calculated invasion was falling apart. "This is impossible," he said. But in space, impossible was happening. The prototype ship wasn't just fighting. It was communicating. Every interaction with alien technology was another piece of information, another lesson learned. Across the hidden facilities on Earth, teams of scientists celebrated. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was proof of human potential. Park Eun-ji allowed herself a small smile. "We're not fighting their war," she said quietly. "We're fighting our own way." The ship returned to Earth, but everything had changed. Humanity had just shown the galaxy that they were not just another species to be conquered. They were something else entirely. Space looked different now. What was once a battlefield of alien superiority had become a canvas of human determination. Jae-hwan stood on the bridge of the lead human ship. It wasn't a military vessel in the traditional sense. It was a living machine, part technology, part something else entirely. Around him, a team of specialists worked with a precision that would have been impossible just weeks ago. "We're approaching the alien flagship," Lee Sung-min announced. His fingers moved across holographic displays, reading data that would have looked like gibberish to anyone else. The alien flagship was massive, a city-sized vessel that had conquered countless worlds. Supreme Commander Rin-tak believed it was unbeatable. He was about to learn how wrong he was. "They're preparing to fire," Park Eun-ji said calmly. She wasn't worried. Their new adaptive shields had already learned from 100 different alien weapon systems. The first attack came, a massive energy burst that would have destroyed any previous human ship instantly. Their new ship simply absorbed it, studied it, learned from it. Jae-hwan's voice was calm. "Target their communication systems," he ordered. Inside the alien flagship, panic began to spread. Their perfectly organized invasion was falling apart. For the first time, the Galactic Alliance was facing an enemy that didn't play by their rules. Rin-tak watched in disbelief as human ships moved in ways that defied everything he knew about space combat. They weren't just fighting. They were dancing between alien weapons, turning each attack into a lesson. "This is impossible," Rin-tak muttered. But impossible was becoming very real. Jae-hwan had a direct communication line now. He spoke clearly, knowing every alien in the command ship would hear him. "You thought Earth was just another planet to conquer," he said. "You were wrong." The human ships moved together like a single organism. Each ship knew what the others were doing. Each movement was perfectly coordinated. It wasn't just technology. It was something more. Eun-ji had done something incredible with their ship systems. They weren't just blocking alien communications. They were learning their entire communication language in real time. "We're breaking their communication network," Sung-min reported. His voice was calm, but there was something else. Pride. The alien flagship began to break apart, not from weapons, but from something worse: complete system failure. Rin-tak realized the truth in those final moments. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were evolving faster than any species the Galactic Alliance had ever encountered. "How?" he asked, looking at the screens that showed human ships moving in impossible patterns. The answer was simple. Humans didn't just adapt. They transformed. As the alien flagship began to crumble, Jae-hwan allowed himself a small smile. This wasn't just a battle. This was a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity had arrived, and they were not going to be conquered. 6 months after the invasion, Earth looked different. Not broken, not defeated, transformed. Jae-hwan stood on the balcony of the new Global Defense Headquarters. It wasn't a military building. It was a meeting place, a symbol of what humanity had become. Below him, cities were being rebuilt. But they weren't the same cities as before. They were smarter, more connected, stronger. Dr. Park Eun-ji approached him, holding a holographic display. "The first diplomatic missions are ready," she said. Her voice carried a mix of excitement and caution. The Galactic Alliance was no longer a threat. It was falling apart. The broadcast they had sent months ago had done more than just fight an invasion. It had started a revolution among the conquered civilizations. "We're not conquerors," Jae-hwan said, looking at the display. It showed communication networks spanning multiple star systems. We're partners. Lee Sung-min joined them, bringing up new information. Other civilizations were reaching out. They wanted to understand how humans had done the impossible, how they had fought back against a seemingly unbeatable enemy. The technologies developed during the invasion were changing everything. Adaptive shields, quantum communication systems, biological technological hybrid systems that could learn and grow. It wasn't about the technology, Dr. Kim Min-seo said, joining the group. It was about what the technology represented. Human potential. The underground facility that had been their secret weapon was now a global research center. Scientists from around the world worked together. No more secrets, no more competition. The invasion had changed something fundamental about humanity. They had learned that their greatest strength wasn't in their weapons. It was in their ability to adapt, to learn, to grow. Jae-won thought about the team that had started it all. A retired Navy SEAL, an engineer, a communication specialist, ordinary people who had done something extraordinary. We're sending our first joint exploration mission, Yun-ji explained. The holographic display showed a ship unlike anything humans had built before. Part human, part technology learned from their former enemies. The ship represented more than just exploration. It was a message to the galaxy. Humanity had arrived, and they were ready to learn. In schools around the world, children were learning a new history. Not a history of defeat, but a history of resilience, of hope. The alien invasion had tried to destroy humanity. Instead, it had made them stronger. Jae-won looked at the team around him. They weren't soldiers anymore. They were something else. Explorers, builders, creators. What's our next step? Lee Sung-min asked. Jae-won smiled. The answer was simple. Everything. The galaxy waited, and humanity was ready.